Hey, this is Natalie Callback, and I'm here with Creative Jumpstart and Andrea Chebleu. And I'm super happy. I butchered her last name again, but we will roll with it. Super happy to have her. I know Andrea for, I think, a couple years online, but I know her in person for 2 years because I've taught at her amazing art studio and store in San Jose 2 times, and I love her work too. She has an amazing eclectic and cool style and does like all kinds of different things. Her video for Creative Jumpstart, she's the first time joining us this year, 2019, is really cool. I'm excited. It's cute. Can't wait to show you and share. So you have to sign up to see it.
Yeah.
But before I go further, I just let her introduce herself. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Nat. So, I'm Andrea Chebleu. It is kind of a mouthful there. Um, and my studio is a work of art here in San Jose. And I've been in a commercial space, a public studio like this for 16 years, December of 16 years. So that's kind of exciting. And I am so thrilled to be a part of this year. It's like a dream come true. Just among the greats, as I call it. So.
That's
Um,
great.
just awesome. So many artists that I really admire on your platform. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody else has to offer too. I'm excited to watch all the videos and get a creative jumpstart because it really is, the beginning of the year, you're so overwhelmed at the end of the year that anyway, well, we'll get into that, I'm sure, but it's a great time of year to just start off on the right foot.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you have this like really, really cool artist studio and store, which is it's gigantic, guys. It's like you have a storefront, then you have a big classroom upstairs, and then you have a big classroom downstairs. And you do all kinds of workshops. So you lead them yourself. So you
Yeah.
teach workshops, and you also have guest teachers like your truly self, no, but people like me. And you do children and adults, and it's like just amazing. It's so many different things. You do jewelry classes, mixed media classes, like everything,
Yeah.
right?
Thanks for filling in everything that I didn't talk about. Yeah. A work of art. That is, you got it in a nutshell. Another one of my favorite things that we do here is we call it book study, which
Mhm.
is we take a book like your book and we'll work in it over 8 weeks, and so it's just a way for community to come together and work through using great resources, and I provide all the supplies and I just facilitate those. So that's one of my favorite things to do. It's a great community here in San Jose. We have people that come in from all over California and neighboring states and cross country and all that to visit our visiting guest teachers. But we have about 18 teachers that teach here on the regular. I'm just one of them.
Mhm.
And so, it's jewelry, mixed media, bookbinding, modern calligraphy, watercolor, drawing. I already said jewelry. Yeah, lots of different things. So,
So, is that how did you get to that idea? So is that what you went to school and you opened your store? No, this is not how that worked. So
no, that's not how that works.
how did that happen?
Yeah, I came into it through the paper arts and scrapbooking end, and I discovered one day one of my customers walked in with a cloth paper scissors magazine. Right, my mind exploded. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? This is amazing. So that's how I was introduced to mixed media and just this whole other world, and I just really haven't looked back. So I don't do as much scrapbooking anymore, but I still have a few clients that I do work for. But that's how I started, was doing scrapbooks for other people,
Hmm.
and the projects that I was doing were so large that I needed the extra space to spread out, which is how I moved into a commercial space to begin with.
Hmm.
But yeah, so in the last, let's just say 13 years or so, I've really been more focused on mixed media and then subsequently jewelry, because there's a lot of things that I know they're kind of two separate fields, but there's a lot of things that you can do with mixed media supplies to make jewelry. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got into it.
Cool. So, Andrea, this year's theme is My Home is My Castle. Everyone I interview, I ask, of course, to what does home mean to you?
What does home mean to me? Well, I had to look up that quote because I was like, wow, that's an interesting quote. And one of the things that I came up with was, your home is where you can do whatever you want, basically, like it's a safe space. And so for me, I think of home as being a safe space. And it's funny that the home is the theme. I've been working on this 1,000 Houses project for way too long to not be done with it yet. But there's a lot of house themed artwork in my studio because I like the shape. I like the thought of home. It's a comfortable theme for me, and so yeah, home is just a comfortable, safe space. I think that's a long answer for a short question.
No, I think it's interesting because you think a lot. I think a lot about the word home and what does that mean. Probably because I moved countries too, of course, and at some point you lose maybe some connections with your home country, but not really. So the question of home, and we also look for a house right now. So the question of home is an interesting one, I think, per se. And what I love about having had so many interviews with you guys and also watching your videos, that we are all over the world and we are all very different. A lot of us are so different of us artists, but home is actually very similar what it means to us. I mean, there are some differentiations between all of us, but in a nutshell, we are all over the world the same. It means the same. So I think that's amazing. So we have a lot of things in common, art and that we love our homes. So and I think that's fun for me. Creative Jumpstart is part of it is also getting all kinds of people together from all over the world. I think that's so fun. So I know that you lived in a lot of different countries, and that's why I'm always like, every time I meet you, it's not that I met you 100 million times, but every time I meet you and we go out and you tell me you're like, yeah, then when I lived in Mexico, I'm like, what? You lived in Mexico, right? So you lived in, I think, Mexico, Alabama, Oregon, California, maybe even more places.
Texas, Washington, Illinois,
wow.
Lots of different places.
Do you think that all these different places had some kind of influence, and can you pinpoint them maybe to your creativity and way of approaching art or art making?
That's a great question. I don't know that I'm influenced so much by the places that I live, but the idea of moving from place to place and having that openness for new things and always sort of being a little bit out of my comfort zone has definitely influenced my art in that I'm willing to try new things and I'm willing to explore. I'm not really stuck in, this is what you do and stay in your lane, right?
Yeah.
I definitely am not a stay in your lane kind of girl. So I think that I think that's probably the biggest influence has been just trying lots of different things, and that probably has to do with the way that I was raised. I think until I moved to California, I had not lived in any one place more than 4 years in my life. So 4 years was tops, and now I've been in California for quite a while. But
it's so interesting because it's you and also Rachel Greg had a very, the little kitten. So for those of you guys who don't know, Andrea also foster cares kittens. And if you know that I have a cat called Bobby Pretzel, it's all her fault. So.
I'll take credit. And play.
So, I was talking to Rachel, too, who was moving a lot when she was a child, and I moved a lot, too, and now I moved countries. And I think there's something about that you kind of learn when you have to do that very early on, that you have to move, you have to make new friends, you have to learn about your new environment. But it's always like traumatic, especially when you're a child. I remember when I was a teenager, that was the worst. But you also are more flexible because that's like a survival thing that you're like, okay, I will find some things that I really will like about this place, and you just adjust, right?
Because you have to. You're adaptable, and I think that definitely has become part of my personality.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have this discussion right now, searching for a house, and my husband is like, do you really think it's a cool house, but do you really think the neighborhood is like, perfect? And I was like, oh, well, I will figure it out. I'm not scared of that. I mean, it depends. I'm a city girl, but I'm not scared unless there's people running around wanting to kill me. But other than that, I'm not scared of, having to walk somewhere or being like, I don't know, this doesn't scare me. So I guess it's like, so, I know you're super busy and you're teaching a lot, and the ongoing question with this is, because right now I think the last time I have done really something for myself is probably a couple of weeks now in painting. So how do you make time to be creative?
That is the eternal question. I'm trying to explore the thought of time blocking right now. I haven't really gotten into it yet, but ask me next year. We'll see how that went. So what I did when I moved into this studio a little over a year ago was, the move was a huge thing. I went from 1,600 square feet to 3,200 square feet, but that 1,600 square feet was packed full of everything from the last 10 years. So it was a huge ordeal. And when I moved in here, I thought, you know what? If I don't get back into doing something creative, not moving, not thinking logistics, but so I set a challenge for myself to do one piece of art, just a little 3x3, 3.5 by 3.5 piece of art every day for the first 100 days that I was here. I laid it out on my window, on the outside of my office window, and I just did one piece every day. And I think having something that was doable, small, it wasn't overwhelming, it wasn't like a full page or a canvas or anything like that, but that I could see it, so I could see when I missed a day. I'm a very visual. I needed to see that challenge laid out. And so how do I make time? I make sure that whatever it is that I'm trying to do is doable.
Yeah.
That it's not going to take a lot of time. And many times I would spend, an hour on that 3x3, but many times I would spend 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so just not having high expectations, but just to keep plugging away. And some days it's just slapping some color down. And some days it's doing, a whole bunch of Zentangle patterning over top of it. It takes a lot more time. So,
that's a good idea. It's like, because I think like a lot of people do art journaling every day, but that's a big surface actually. I mean, unless you choose
size matters.
Yeah.
This year I've done a challenge where I wanted to do, I love that 100-day challenge so much that I wanted to lay out the entire year. I thought, oh, how exciting would that be to look back at the year and see everything. And so I have it on my other office window. And now my size on this one is 1.5 by 3.5, way too small. So I need something between those two sizes to make it, doable. So I need a little bit bigger than 1.5 by 3.5, but 3.5 by 3.5 is good.
I love the 100-day idea is great, and that's part of also plays with Creative Jumpstart that I chose it for the month of January, because they say you form a habit in like 30 days. So we make it 31 days for Creative Jumpstart, right? So get you into the swing of things in January. Just to get Wi-Fi back a little bit, guys, we have to bring Creative Jump. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But another question that I have for you. So when I was there in, I think it was August.
August, yeah.
You had someone started this really, really, really cool mural at the side of your store.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's finished now. I think I saw it actually.
Yeah, phase 2 just got done.
Yeah, it's so cool. What is on the, describe for us the mural, and I know that this is also advertisement, but what does it, why this image and why the things that are in there?
Well, the things that are in there, I really wanted to bring the inside out, because when you look at the outside of the building, it's a cute building and everything, but you just don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is about my personality, but I have this thing for cubbies. you can see behind me, right? And so there's a lot of cubbies that are filled with art supplies and shelves and things like that. So it's what's out there is really a picture of what's inside. Actually, a friend of mine saw a picture and of the mural in progress. She's like, "Why does she have all that stuff outside?" She literally thought it was like I put stuff outside. So my muralist is really good. He did a great job. But so yeah, it was really just my wanting people to get a feel for what was inside and bringing that outside as far as just all the fun things that we have here.
Did you have someone come in and say they stopped because they saw the mural and they wanted
Oh my goodness. I get people every week. And after phase 2, so phase 2 was adding like what we do in actual words, not just pictures. So it was like, art supplies and team building and classes and that sort of thing. And I have the website on it now. And I get even more people now. What? You have classes? What? You sell art supplies? So yeah, I get people every day, literally every day coming in saying, "Oh, we saw the mural and we were really interested." So
that is so cool. And I love, that would be a dream of mine to have like a space in my house or at my house with a mural. We actually saw a house where where the backyard, they built this kind of crazy Lord of the Ring deck. Like it was insane. And if I mean like insane, it was insane, but it was cool. And it was built like their laundry room was like in the first floor. That's where the deck was built on. And they spray painted the laundry room like a forest. I guess the Lord of the Ring was really like in there. And it was kind of cool. You're like sitting in your if it would be your backyard, you're sitting in the backyard and you're looking at this like mural that is a forest instead of like a gray house.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, it reminded me, it wasn't as good as yours, but it reminded me of your page. And I was like, actually, I would love to have a little wall where I can like, do something.
Yeah. It's made me want to do that on the inside too, like do a wall in here of something, but then add that to the list of other things I want to do. So.
Also, you would have to give up some wall space, which is always a little bit tough, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So now you have so much artwork and so much stuff, and I mean that in the best way. It's right in your place, which is you don't live there. I mean, you almost live there, but you don't.
My kids used to call it in the beginning in my first studio. My kids used to call it "Mommy's house." I was like, yeah, I guess Mommy does spend a lot of time at the studio.
That's funny. So in your home, right? Is there a lot of artwork? Is that different? Is that more minimalistic? What is the difference?
Yeah, it's very minimalistic at home. It's interesting. I get that question a lot. They're like, "Oh man, your house must be decorated." I'm like, yeah, no, it's very neutral. I'm very neutral. I tried to bring a piece home one time, and my husband was like, "It's too big," or I don't know. So anyway, I just keep it here. I love color. I love saturated color, and a lot of my my art. You look around, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Andrea loves teal and green and." Right? Yeah.
It's funny because downstairs it's the same for us. Like we have a very minimalistic style actually.
Yeah.
And artwork. I mean, my husband loves my stuff, but it's like of course it's a decision that you make together if you have a healthy relationship usually.
Sure.
But so you don't have a lot of stuff hanging on the walls?
Not yet. Maybe eventually. Our house has kind of been in progress of remodeling and that sort of thing since I moved into my first space 16 years ago. So I feel like, I'm just waiting for everything to get done at home. It just never seems to get there. So,
do you have an art studio or craft area there too?
I did. It's now the kitten room.
Oh, they get their own room.
They get their own room. Yeah. So no, I don't have anything at home. I bring stuff home, periodically when I need to work on something, and I do have, I have a room that could be that, but pretty much between Easter and Thanksgiving, I'm fostering kittens, so they have their own little room.
So if you are a lover of kittens and you want one, and you're close, and you also want to take workshops or not, or both,
Yeah.
or one of it. Just come by
Yeah.
a work of art, and
I'm
your
your
wish will
girl.
be fulfilled. You might
Yeah.
come home to New Jersey and have a kitten in your in your carry-on too.
Kittens travel well. Well,
he did.
I remember that story.
He's still afraid
They
of
do travel. Let's just not say well. They do travel.
They do travel. He doesn't like fans or hoods or, like loud noises.
Yeah.
But he did well. He adjusted very well. He's the king of the castle. That was super fun talking with you, Andrea. I'm super happy we have you. Where can people find you to check out your work and also your store and everything?
Best place is aworkofheart.com. Don't forget the aworkofheart.com. And then from there's links to all my other social media stuff. Instagram is a Work of Heart studio, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so sign up for Creative Jumpstart.
Yeah.
I can promise you her video is super fun and super cool. You will like it a lot. And if you're following Andrea already, then sign up through her link. That will be awesome. And yeah, can't wait to see you and start the new year with you.
Right on. Can't wait to see you again, Matt. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.